Hello everyone and welcome to our next lesson on learning SQL. Today's lesson concerns joins. Now, we learned in a previous video how to select from a table, a single table, our data and view what's in our tables. Now we're going to learn how to select from multiple tables. Okay, this video is just a concept, so the theory. The next video is actually going to be the practical part, but you first have to understand the theory part of what joins are. Okay, so we're going to do inner joins in this video. Okay, so let's get started on this. Okay, so this is just a theory one, so there's no using MySQL or anything. So here's the two tables I'm going to use to represent this concept of an inner join. We have a table called continent and a table called country. Okay, continent ID, this one here, is the primary key in the continent table. In the country table, country ID is the primary key, and continent ID here is the foreign key that connects them. We have a continent name and a country name. So in previous videos you can see how the foreign key works. Canada is in the continent of K1, which is here, which is North America. If you go down to England here, it's in K5, so you find K5 here, and you see that that's in the European continent. Okay, so these are the two tables we're going to use in our concept for inner joins. Okay, so let's write a query that joins these two tables together using what's called an inner join. So okay, here's again a representation of the tables right here and here. Okay, if you were to type a statement like this, I want to join these two tables together, so I want to select data from both tables is what we mean. This method here that's shown here is the SQL 92 standard or format. Okay, so what we're doing here, right here, is an inner join. Okay, so what we're doing is we say select star. Remember from the video on single table or simple select, a star here means show me all columns. From, where are we getting our data from? We're getting it from the continent table, and then we're inner joining it to the country table. I'm going to explain what an inner join is in a moment, but that's the syntax, inner join country. So now what I've done is I've joined the two tables together using something called an inner join. Okay, when you create a join statement, the next clause you always have to put an on condition. Okay, so from continent, inner join country, and what are you joining on? So you put the word on, and then you pick two columns, one column from this table and one column from this table. You can link or join by any column as long as it makes sense. Normally you join by the primary key and foreign key. There's nothing to say you can't join by other columns, but I'll show you later that it probably doesn't make much sense. Okay, so it's usually the primary key to foreign key. So you can see here continent ID from the table called continent. This is called a full dot notation, and this is the table name right here. Whoops, sorry, wrong thing. This is the table name, continent. This is the table name, country. Okay, this here is the field name or column name. Okay, this is called a full dot notation. So continent is the table, continent ID is the column, so that means it's coming from this table. Country is this table. Continent ID is this table. If I left out the table name here, it would say on continent ID equal to continent ID. Because the columns are the same name, I would get an ambiguity error. Okay, and that means that the system doesn't know which column I'm talking about in which table. It knows I'm talking about the continent ID, but it doesn't know which table I'm talking about. Even though they're both the same, I have to tell it which table I'm talking about. Okay, that's the only reason I have to put the full dot notation, because the two column names are the same. If they were different, I wouldn't have to put the table name in front. Okay, so it's select. I want to show all columns from the continent table. I'm inner joining with the country, and the condition, the on condition, is the continent ID must equal to the continent ID from each table. Okay, so what an inner join does is this. Inner joins will return all rows from both tables that match the on condition. So in other words, you're looking for something that's common between both tables and returning that. So I'm going to show all columns. That means all columns from both tables. So continent ID and continent name is coming from this table. Country ID, country name, and continent ID is coming from this table. So this statement would return this, and let's analyze what it's doing. Remember, the on condition in an inner join returns all rows from both tables that match the on condition right here, down here in this blue. That's the definition of an inner join. Inner joins will return all rows that match the on condition. And the on condition says the continent ID has to equal the continent ID in each table. So what you do is this. Here's the continent ID here in this table, K1. Now what you do is look over here. Is there a K1 on this side? Yes. So something has to get returned because it met this condition. The continent ID equals the continent ID. So write down K1 North America right there and there. And there's a K1 there. So I'll write down country ID, country name, and K1 again to go with that. Any more K1s? Yes, there's another one. So let's write down K1 North America again for this two columns, because these two columns represent this table. These three columns represent this table. So I'm going to write C2 USA and K1. Any other K1s? Yes, there's another one. So let's write down K1 North America again. Then C3 Mexico K1. Any more K1s? No. So let's go here, K2. Any K2s here? No. So nothing in here in this return set has to do with K2 because it's an inner join, and I'm looking, my on condition says the continent ID has to equal the continent ID. And the definition of an inner join says will return all rows from both tables that match the on condition. K2 does not match the on condition because there's no K2 over here. So nothing about that. Let's check K3. Any K3s here? No. So nothing gets returned. K4? Yes, there's a K4. So let's write K4 Africa. And then C6 Kenya K4. Do it again because there's another one. There's three more. So we do three of those. Let's go to a K5. Europe. Is there a K5 here? Yes, there's one for England. And there's one for France also. So 2 rows for that one. K7, nothing. K8, yes, there's one right here. So K8, Zealandia. Look it up on Google. You'll see it actually exists. C9, New Zealand, K8. C9, New Zealand, K8. So there you go. That's the return set from an inner join. You look at the on condition and only return the rows that match the on condition. Okay, K1, K1. So we use an inner join when we're looking for something that's common between two tables. Okay. Let's look at another scenario that some people try to do. Let me clear the thing. Now, earlier I said select star, If you just want to see two columns, just put the column names in. So continent name, country name, that's it. Because that's taking from this return set and just returning these two columns. Okay. The reason I put a star is to show you the concept. What I recommend you always do if you have trouble visualizing or you're new at it, put a star so you see all the columns and see what comes back in the columns. This is very important when you start using outer joins. But for now, the inner joins return something. There will be something in all the columns. Okay. So if you just want to see the continent name, country name, change the star to the name of the columns now. Okay, everything's still in there, but now I'm just sort of just showing the two columns, okay, like this, and that's what comes back. It's the exact same as the previous slide there. Okay, so now let me show you something that some people try. What if someone said, can you show me all the continents that don't have a country associated with it? So maybe you think, well, I'll change this equal to a not equal to. Okay, that should show me the K2, the K3, K7, and K6. K6? Yes, you'd think. So you say, well, what if it's not equal to? Then it should show me others. Be careful of that. The problem with that is this. If you tried to do this, what you're saying, it would actually return 63 rows consisting of unmatched continent IDs from the country table and continent table. Okay, so the output of an inequality join would be all the combination of rows between the two tables minus all the combination of rows which satisfy an equality condition. Okay, so what it's saying is this. Is there a K1? Yes, I won't return that. But K1 is there, so those three don't get returned, but there's this K5 does not match the K1, so therefore I'll get a K1 North America with the C5 England K5. And then I'll get another K1 North America with this one, and then another one with this one, then one with this one, then another one with this one. And then for K2, that would be this with this, etc., etc. So be very careful. It says where the continent IDs don't equal each other. And if I look here, K5, that doesn't match the K1, so I'll get something returned for that. I'll get one returned for this, and so forth. Okay, so I wouldn't get anything returned for these three with the K1, but I would get them returned with the K2, okay, and the K3 and the K4 and K5, 6, 7, 8. Basically what you're getting is what's called a Cartesian result minus an equality join condition. So don't use not equal to. That's not what you want to do to find the continents that don't have any countries. That doesn't work. Okay, I hope that's understandable. You can always create a data set like this and run the select statement like this and see the result. And you'll see what I mean by that. I can't draw it here. There's 63 rows. I'm not going to draw that out, but you can visualize it here. K1 doesn't match K5, so I'll get a return for that row, that row, that row, that row, that row, that row. And if you go to this one, K5 here, K1 and K5 don't match, so I'll get a return for this row, this row, this row, this row, this row, this row, and this row. Okay, so be very careful. Always use an equal sign, please. Okay, and that's it. Just remember, inner joins return all rows from both tables that match the on condition. Usually join by the primary key and foreign key. If I had joined by this name and this name, continent name and country name, I would get nothing returned. I wouldn't get an error. I just, let's say, I go back to here, in inner join. If I change this continent ID to continent name and this one to country name, it's a valid statement, just nothing would get returned because there's no North America in this table. So nothing would get returned for this one. South America, nothing here. Asia, nothing here, etc. So nothing would match the on condition if I had changed it to continent name and country name. So something's got to be common between the two tables, and that's usually the primary key and foreign key. Okay, that's usually what we use to link tables together anyway, so that should be your on condition. Okay, all right, that's it, guys. That's the concept. In the next video, we'll show you how to use them in a real situation, the practical part. Okay, hope you liked the video. Please click on like if you did. I'd appreciate that, and subscribe to the channel. That would be appreciated. And if you want to see new video or be notified of new videos when I upload them, please click on the bell icon. Okay, guys, have a great day. Take care.